Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
And we're back. Hello, mate. Woo!
We're here. We're back. It's you. It's me in the same place. Well, no, we're on Zoom. But
No, we're on Zoom.
But we're back.
Yeah, season 11, mate.
11. My lucky number. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I
I think you might have mentioned that a few weeks ago, actually, when we did our last, when we were back in the home of Drewling Samantics and recording together.
Yeah,
seems such a long while ago.
Yeah, it feels like bloody forever, doesn't it? It was. Where are we today? So I suppose we better flag. Let's flag something early doors before we get into the how are you, what's going on, blah 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 blah.
Right.
We're recording now, but now is not when the recording's coming out. But it's close, but it's not. I'm doing it again. I'm saying things that make no sense.
So what you're saying is we're pre-recording a few days before this goes live.
Exactly that, yes.
There you go.
Which obviously is not a ridiculous idea, but the reason we wanted to mention it is because we're going to be doing a lot of that in this season, particularly when it comes to guests, because we always want to bring the best guests we possibly can to Drewling Samantics, and obviously they are very generous in giving up their time to come and chat to us, but they're not always available when we want to release their episode. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to get lots of guests recorded, we're going to find time to fit people in, and then we'll release them as we go. And the same will apply in certain circumstances to our episodes. So the only reason we sort of mention this is because obviously there will always be times where something happens in the industry or something in the news, or there's something going on that is specifically relevant or topical. And if we're pre-recording or doing things in advance, we can't always hit those points. We'll always try and add a bit extra if we can. We've done that before where we've wanted to mention certain things. But yeah, just to clarify, it may not be the week it's released that is when we recorded-ish.
Yeah. And people may be going, come on, boys, you've missed that. That's the reason. If we do miss anything, we'll play catch-up. We'll always play catch-up. We've got a couple of things in this episode we're going to be catching up with. But
because we've been away for a while. But while I remember, cheers, mate.
Oh, hang on, mate. Hang on. Coffee time. Cheers, buddy.
Beer time, as always.
Cheers, everyone.
Welcome back, everyone, or welcome if you're new to Drewling Samantics. Me and Drew have a drink. That's what we do.
Yeah, we do that. Well, lovely stuff.
But yes, so I've gone off on a tangent already, which is standard for us. But yes, so some of the recordings won't necessarily be at the time or won't reference things that have gone on exactly at that period. We might be a little bit behind or whatever, but it all makes sense and it's all for very good reason. And as you said, this one, we are the week that the recording is going live, but we're a few days before, because actually we haven't got time to do it closer to time because we're working together, weirdly.
We're working together, Sam. This is
show. Yeah.
Bizarre. We'll actually be doing something theatrical, not podcasting, together. And that's been quite some time, buddy.
They've tried to keep us apart for God knows how long. I don't know. No idea why that might be. But yes, so we are back together. We are. You are bringing your Manuel and I am doing my Basil together for the first time in what feels like forever, actually.
Yeah.
Very much looking forward to it. So at the time this goes out, we'll have done that. But when we get to the next episode or whatever, we'll be able to feed back and go.
We'll be able to tell you all about that the next time we pre-record a show.
Or otherwise, yeah. But yeah, so we are on a brand new season 11. We haven't seen each other. We haven't actually been in the same place as each other or been chatting properly for best part of a month, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, how's said month been, mate? Have you been busy?
It's been good. I have been doing odds and ends, bits and pieces. Been doing a little bit of writing. And I do a little bit of. I've been working at the venue, Watermill. We're getting ready for summer events, and that's been. I've been donning the painting gear. Been doing a little bit of painting, a little bit of stuff, prepping the indoor space for summer events. I've also filmed another commercial. So I've been under
Oh, you're
makeup
not
again.
bloody back as Einstein again, are you?
I know, mate. I know. No,
Every time I turn on the damn TV, oh look, it's Drew again. Oh. So there's more of those to come, are there?
yeah, there are. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But mate, as Einstein would say, it's all relative, mate. It's all relative, isn't it?
Oh dear. Oh, wish you'd never got that bloody job.
Yeah. So
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm obviously overjoyed for you, mate, that there's still
Well,
more coming
I'm
along.
overjoyed as well because you have been away on tour doing your first love and what you're bloody good at. You've been in a musical theatre tour, haven't you, mate? Tell us
I've
all
actually,
about
yeah.
it.
So I think we briefly spoke about it, didn't we, towards the end of last
Yes.
season? I think I'd either just finished rehearsals and was about to go to shows, or just done the first show or two. Something I can't remember exactly when it was, but yeah. So UK and Ireland tour of the Doris Day story, which fabulous show. Obviously, all about the life of Doris Day. I got to play some very pivotal characters in her life, some very influential people. Um, and yeah, it was super. I mean, it was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. Never felt like my feet touched the floor because we UK and Ireland, so we were all over the place. We'd be in Scotland one day, Northern Ireland the next day, then all the way down on the southwest coast, like all the way down to. So we were in Exmouth, and then we were in Peterborough, and then we were in St Helens, and just absolutely everywhere. But it
And
was
you were doing really tough touring as well because you were doing one nighters. Am I
We
right?
were, yeah. So
Wow.
rather than sort of getting into a venue and spending a week there, we would get in or arrive on the day, whether we travelled up, down, wherever we're going on that day. So probably a good 3 or 4 hours in a car, or I had to go on a ferry, and I don't like boats. That was one point. Some planes and various
Big on boat.
planes, trains, and automobiles, all those kind of things. But then on the day, we'd then get into the theatre. Tech team would set things up and get all the stuff in. Then we'd go in and do techs, and then we'd check props in the right place, costumes in the right place, work out where we were. I mean, because obviously there is no universal stage. There is no this is the stage is this size and the wings are this size and the auditorium's this size. Like they're all different. So we were adjusting for everyone, finding out where the dressing rooms were, how far you had to run when you had a quick change from backstage all the way upstairs. God knows what. Yeah, it's crazy. It's the hardest kind of touring, I think, personally, but equally super rewarding because those audiences are unlikely to get another opportunity to see in that area because it's very much regional and looking in certain spaces. Yes, we do, I don't know, somewhere in Scotland and somewhere else in Scotland, but they weren't really within travel distance where people would go, oh, I've missed that first one, I'll go see the second one. So yeah, it was great. It was super rewarding, and I don't think you know this. You remember the lovely Leo Abad who we had on last season?
I
Was he our?
do.
I think he was he our last guest of? See, I can't remember. I think he may have been our last guest
think
of
he
season 10.
was. I think he
Um,
was. Yeah.
would you believe he obviously, as we know, is on tour in Shrek, or just about to finish? I think he's only got a week or two left. Um,
Yeah.
I performed in a theatre in Ireland, Millennium Forum Theatre, on the Sunday, I think. And on the Monday was the get in for Shrek. And I happened to still be over there because we were doing another show nearby, so we stayed in that area. So I got to see Leo. So of
Oh,
all the places, we happened to both be in Ireland at the same time. Yeah, so I got to meet up with Leo, which was bloody brilliant.
that's nice,
And I
man.
tell you
That's
what,
nice.
his smile's even bigger in person than it was on the episode. Mate. He lights up the world, let alone a room. But yeah,
He
so it was
does,
lovely to
doesn't
see
he?
him, and the tour itself was great. As said, it was exhausting, but I loved it. It was brilliant, and as you said, it's what I want to be doing the most. So I was back doing musical theatre, dancing, singing, acting, everything all rolled into one. Yeah, just brilliant. So thank you to TPE, the production team, and to all the rest of the cast, amazing people that I got to work with. Thank you all of them for just a great time. But now back, settled,
Back.
trying to breathe before the next bloody thing comes along, which I can't wait for, obviously.
Brilliant, mate. Good
But,
news. Good stuff.
but yeah, so come on then. We've been away for we haven't been away for a month because we've had the best ofs and stuff, but we haven't had a fresh new conversation for a month or so. You must have some news to bring to us, to our listeners, to me, to what's going on in the world of entertainment, please, Drew.
Well, I've gone with little picky things that we can follow up on,
Yeah.
things that are little just.
Mm.
Um, now, a few months ago, Oldham Coliseum was closed,
Yes. Yeah.
and there were approaches made to consortiums, councils, etc., to reopen. Now, we know that one of the oldest, most established theatres up north, producing some incredible work. Loads of actors have worked there, love it. I've toured there in the past. It's a beautiful theatre.
Mm.
Was a beautiful theatre. But, however, there are, and again, we're going to keep following this story because I do love the theatre. There are plans to reopen.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
They are, according to local council officials and head of the council, those plans are now back on the table, and there are positive noises being made.
Superb.
Now we know this. We know, let's not count our chickens, etc., etc. But it is such a beloved theatre. There has been a lot of campaigning being done. I know some funds have been raised or whatever. So let's see what happens. But um, it's good to know that the plans to reopen it are actually back on the table, and that's got to be good news. That rather than it never happen again. So fingers crossed for that, and we will be following that story up.
Yeah, definitely one to keep updated on. So we'll
Yeah.
bring you any changes or progress on that story as and when we can.
Yeah. Now, on that, the Royal Courts, which we know I know it's an enormous history of great new writing being innovative, and it seems to be that it's going a little bit back to its roots,
Hmm.
because the head of the Royal Court, David Byrne, has signed up, and they've taken on board four associate playwrights. Now,
Oh,
these playwrights, it's Mike Bartlett, Vinay Patel, Nina Siegel, and Ryan Callis Cameron, four enormously talented writers. And I would say, yeah, four very different, for very, good reasons, very different writers, very innovative writers, but they are going to form part of the planning for its artistic program.
yeah.
So that means that the Royal Court goes back to being a writers headed
Nice.
theatre, something which, it's great. We see theatres that got associated writers, or in-house writers or whatever, and it's usually fostering their careers with the odd play put on in that venue. But this obviously is going to form the backbone of the Royal Court's work, which I think is fantastic, because I mean the Royal Court, it has a worldwide reputation of good work, good directors, good new writers, good new stuff, and to see that as its backbone now is, I think, a round of applause to David Byrne for being brave to
I
do
was
that.
going to say it's the way forward, isn't it? It's what we need to
Yeah,
be pushing. It's what we need to be supporting. And I guess you see it across the board. And I don't want to necessarily put a negative spin on it, but we've talked previously lots about reruns of films, not reruns. What do I mean? Remakes of
really,
film,
yes.
which can be incredible. But there is always that little niggling feeling of, look, can't you make something new? Like we've done that. We don't want to keep rehashing the same things. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. We've seen so many movies that have done prequels, sequels, like and then remakes, and you've gone, actually, it's bloody brilliant. Like it's absolutely superb.
Mm,
And a lot of the Disney stuff, obviously, is just being remade as live action or as new adaptations of things. And theatre as well, like we've taken themes. So you've got Harry Potter, you've got Stranger Things, you've got these things that already exist. Lord of the Rings did fairly well for a while, didn't it? The music.
yeah.
What's the one that's just coming out? Mean Girls. So Mean Girls has been adapted for stage. It was obviously done in America a while ago, and now it's coming over here. We've got a brand new Beetlejuice movie coming, as well as Beetlejuice the musical, which, if you haven't listened to the score, anyone out there, do it. It's stunning. Some of the
Is
music
it?
is fabulous. I'm really looking forward to that one. But and that's not saying these things being remade and redone and new elements of them is a bad thing. It's not at all. But equally, we need this support of new theatre, new writing, new creativity. I think we've been missing it in recent years.
I think
It's coming back. I think.
yeah, it is. And also there are different demands from different strands, different female actors, minorities, and everything. If we're producing the same stuff over and over again, I mean, apart from just doing gender blind casting and all the rest of it,
Yeah.
there's nothing written. There's you're not driving a new a new canon for women or a new canon for gay actors or whatever, whoever it is, for ethnic minorities. I'm not naming names, but I mean, there is no new work. We can't encompass those people that are demanding representation. That's a better way of putting it. If we're not writing new stuff, it's never going to
exactly. It's we had a discussion before, didn't we, about things like Ghostbusters and Ocean's 11 and Men in Black, and you're going, don't treat it as or the men have finished with that, we'll give it to the women, or let's do this and make one of the characters a different sexual orientation because that's new. It's not new. Just be creative and write. And I know it's not as straightforward as going, well, just write something new that's successful. It's not that easy. But equally, you need that creativity and that freedom to kind of go, let's do something a bit different.
And it's also representing, our audiences. Audience need to be represented within what they want. I mean, there are some very good political writers and very good political playwrights that are not being given anywhere to it, that have things to say. I mean, we're probably in one of the most politically
volatile. Is that the word?
Yeah, I mean we're in deep shit in many respects, but also there are changes that could be made. There are people being politically active in that, and theatre has always been one of those spaces that can be represented.
Yeah.
And if we're not writing new stuff, it's never going to happen anyway. Royal Court, thank you very much. Let's see what happens. It's a very exciting start.
Yeah.
Now
the opportunity is there. They now just really need to sort of smash
run
it.
with the ball.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. The two good things about funding and the Theatres Trust Small Grants Programme. Now they have made a record grant funding to 24 theatres of £100,000. For something that's a lifeline. I mean, primarily two of the big ones have gone to the Watermill in Newbury and the Lyric in Hammersmith. But to see funding going into theatres and not being pulled out,
it's a double take moment, isn't it? Going, I'm sorry, what you're giving money?
Giving us money, exactly. And on that, someone who, I mean, we are in an election year. This may just be a little bit of electioneering and campaigning on her behalf. But the Shadow Culture Secretary, Thangam Debonair, who, I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I just think that is probably, she's a great politician, but also just one of the best names ever.
Oh, yeah, I mean that's
Thangam Debonair. What a beautiful.
Yeah, then someone out there would be going, "That's my stage name. I'm having that."
It's a beautiful. I mean, but not only that, great politician and a great advocate from Labour for the arts. Now we always get this. There is an election coming up at some point when Rishi gets his finger out. So we will have an election, and obviously now everybody is vying for their positions and everybody. I mean, the arts is. We are often promised a lot and delivers nothing. And she has made some promises or some positive signs. There are no policy announcements as yet. However, she was talking at the Stages Future Theatre Conference back in April, a few weeks ago. And she made positive noises. Now, I know this is a year of election. As I say, people are going to make positive noises. Again, that is something we can as an election approaches and as she makes, and hopefully there's going to be some policy decisions from the parties. Let's chase that one up. Let's just see if she's as good as her word, because quite apart from anything else, we ain't going to forget her. Not now. She stood up and said.
No. But I mean, we always try and stay as neutral as possible because we represent a large group of people who are either interested in the arts, working in the arts, or both. and we try not to sort of take sides and stuff. And by talking about how we're only supporting Labour, that's not the case at all. We will look at it from all sides, and it'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this is
as impartial as possible. We've obviously got our own views, and we will make those heard, but we will always make it aware that those are our views.
yeah.
And they are not. We're not politically driven to go in any direction on this podcast because none of them bloody sponsor us.
Exactly. Well, no, we're not endorsing anyone unless somebody wants to give us money. But I mean, we're not certainly politically we're not endorsing anything. But again, if you cock up, we will drag you down.
Absolutely.
And if you need praising, we will praise you on that score because we're not politically motivated.
Not outwardly anyway.
Let's see that one go. Now we do. Obviously over the couple of weeks that we've not been talking to our lovely listeners and followers. That we've lost a couple of actors, and I wanted to mention two actors in particular because as you know, I love character actors. I love actors that are the kind of the engine room of films and productions. And these two guys, particularly, I've made notes of it because they are particularly two actors that you don't notice them, but boy, would there be a massive hole if they weren't in that production. And a couple of weeks ago, we looked at a lovely actor called Vincent Friel. Now, he was in Trainspotting. He passed away on the 14th of April. He was in The Angel's Share. He was in Taggart. He was in Rabsy Nesbitt. He was in Still Game. Now, they're all big Scots productions. He was a very well-known and enormously well-respected Scots actor. He was also in a series in the 1980s, which I caught a little bit of, called Restless Natives. And it was an amazing Scots comedy. It was fabulous stuff. But take him out of Trainspotting and there would be a big Vincent Friel shaped hole in it. He was, he was a backbone. He was the engine room of so much good stuff. And also an actor called Brian McCarty. I will say that both these actors are taken very early. I think Vincent Friel, he was about 64, 65. Brian McCarty was only 59, for goodness sake. He died a few days ago. Now, he was, any fans of Line of Duty will know him immediately as the mafia leader, Tommy Hunter. A brilliant character. You can't, you couldn't forget him. No. But also it was, off screen, one of the quietest, gentlest, wittiest, often the case. But he played some incredible characters. He was in a television series which I love because with another actor, favorite actor of mine, Sean Bean. It was a prison drama called Time. I think it was back in 2021, 22, something like that.
I remember it, yeah.
Brilliant, because it was an amazing performance by Sean Bean, but also Brian McCarty was there, and without his presence, and without his consummate skill, both these actors were just brilliant on screen. They ate the screen up, and you kind of went, "What was that? That was genius." And Brian McCarty as Tommy Hunter. Scary, brilliant. To Brian McCarty and to Vincent Friel, thank you, and we raise a glass to you,
gentlemen. A big Scottish hole in the industry, I think.
Absolutely.
We massively appreciate it. And as always, condolences to families. Hope they are coping okay. But not to bring it down, but it's something we always try and do. We always try and raise a glass to those that we've lost. So cheers.
Absolutely. So to Brian and Vincent.
And that is something, obviously, we will continue to do, as we said, because some of what we record won't be necessarily recent. There may be some gaps and stuff, but we'll always try and fill in where we can. And we always try and...
We'll catch you up. Don't worry.
And that is merely a small part of what we've got to come this season, because there is just so much to talk about, so much going on in the industry. We've talked about the political side as well. That's coming up. Financially, the world is in ruin, essentially, and that's massively affecting the industry. But equally, there's a lot of new, exciting stuff coming from the industry, we're pleased to say. So we're going to be focusing on things like that. I've got all of a sudden lots of shows I'm going to and doing some reviews for, so I'll be able
That'd
to
be good.
post stuff like that. We're working together again, which is a bloody miracle, but it's great news. There's stuff on the horizon. I may have another tour in the pipeline, which I will obviously talk about as and when I can. You're probably going to be Einsteining your way around again because why the bloody hell not?
Think there might be some in the pipeline. Yeah.
Exactly that. So we've got lots to chat about, and even more importantly, we've got some incredible guests queued up as well. Very much looking forward to speaking to some people. We actually had some messages and stuff sent in to us suggesting not people specifically, but perhaps areas that we haven't gone into. So we're going to do our very best to do that. In particular, we've got a couple of people coming up that we're going to speak to who are unique. Doesn't quite cover it. I think some of the areas we're going into this time is fabulous, but well deserved to get the airtime, and I think people will find hugely interesting. So looking forward to chatting.
And
New exciting people. So,
as we say, keep those suggestions, comments coming in because we love to hear them. Because did you notice that as well as being your lucky number, 11, season 11, 11 also is very significant in many cultures. But number 11 is considered to bring intuition and inspiration. Do you know that? It's also a master number as well.
It is a master number, and it just so happens, mate, that I did do a little bit of Googling beforehand, and I've got...
I love it. I love it when you Google, Sam.
I was going to say a statement. It's not so much a statement, but it's a little piece of information about number 11. So I would, if you would care to allow me, I would like to read that to you and everyone listening and watching now. So it goes thusly. In numerology, the number 11 is not just any number. It's considered a master number, as you just referenced. This means that it carries a heightened level of spiritual significance and a unique vibration. It's just like a cosmic door that opens to spiritual awareness and inner wisdom. How about that?
Wallop. I mean, we've done 10 seasons, and season 11 that's a lot to live up to, mate.
It is, but
that's a lot to live up to.
That's a way to talk about Drewling Samantics than spiritual awareness and inner wisdom. Probably, because that's nothing to do with you and me whatsoever.
I tell you what, we're going to have to get some guests on to fill those spaces.
Yeah, I think there are areas that we're going to need to hit fairly rapidly to meet with that.
Yeah.
But no, it is a joy to be back.
Absolutely.
We say this every time, but if you'd mentioned to us back in 2021, February 21, wasn't it? If you'd said to us, in 3 years' time, you'll be on your 11th season, you'll have all these followers and fans and people that tune in every week, all these people that contact you and message, and you have this kind of Drewling Samantics family. We wouldn't have believed it for a second. We were two blokes having a moan at each other on the internet.
On the internet, yeah.
Because we couldn't do anything else about it at that time. We weren't allowed to. And actually, we missed our third birthday, didn't we? We didn't reference it. I think we forgot because time just keeps passing.
Time flows, doesn't it? It really does.
But yeah, so as always, an enormous thank you to everyone that does tune in, that listens to us, that watches, whether you're live with us on a Sunday as soon as it goes out, or whether you're watching back. Or I mean, I know I've met people recently who had no idea I did a podcast and now are going back through and listening through and dread to think what it was like when we were doing the first episodes, and if they stick with it, then it'll be a bloody miracle. But it's just it's so rewarding to be back, and so rewarding to know that we're carrying on 3 years down the line, 3.5 years down the line, almost still being able to bring content to people that is obviously found to be interesting enough to warrant keeping going. So yeah, it's a joy. So thank you everyone for joining us and being...
It's also nice just to be able to sit down with your mate, have a beer, have a coffee, have a chat, and just really catch up. Because I don't know about you, I mean we are busy. Sometimes you can miss actually reflecting on the good stuff. It goes and you do it, and sometimes it's gone, and you don't get a chance to sit back and go, actually that was really nice because. So I don't know about you. I love looking back on these these podcast chats and little moments between you and I, because I go, oh, I did do that. I've forgotten I'd done that. I've forgotten how valuable or whatever that day or experience was.
We work in an industry that travels at 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time. And if you don't, then you won't keep up and you won't get anywhere with it. And as said, I've just done this massive tour that was I was so immersed in it that real life almost didn't exist, but it was hard to keep up with real things. So to be able to sit back and reflect now and go, yeah, that was good, but equally now I'm back in real life, and I'm incredibly lucky that I do this as a job, but equally I'm moving on to the next thing and the next exciting project. And you don't want to watch life pass you by without going, that was bloody good, or wow, can you remember that happened?
Absolutely.
But sometimes it's very difficult not to do that. And this is an opportunity for us to share experiences, reflect back on them, be joined by people who have equally entertaining, if not more entertaining experiences, share those with the world. And yeah, I think we're in a very privileged position. We don't get me wrong, we've worked hard to be in it. Absolutely can't take these things for granted. And I think this podcast has always served as a way of us getting voices out there, not just for ourselves, but for everyone that we can. But equally, it's also self-serving and goes, look, the reason it exists is because it's a good thing to exist. So yeah, and we philosophical again.
It's number 11, mate.
It's number 11.
Where we are. We're surfing number 11. No, I think. I've had a little bit of time over the past couple of weeks, a little bit of time off, not much time, but it's interesting to go because you work on something and as you say, you leave it alone, it's gone. But it's been really nice for me to go have some time off, and you look back and you go, actually. Because I don't like to be idle, but sometimes it's good to sit there and go, I've done that. I've learned from that. I did that. I can actually just take my foot off the gas a bit, have a breather, and then, as you say, then motor on to the next thing. I think it's healthy to sit back sometimes and go, actually, I'm all right. I can just, because as you say, our business moves very, very quickly. But also, if we don't act quickly, if you pardon the pun, if we don't act on things quickly and you don't access work, you miss it. Yeah. So it's like, people in our business are reluctant to take a holiday sometimes. I could be back, I could be working. What have I missed? But sometimes you just have to go, you have to be philosophical about it and go, if I miss something, I miss something. But I've just done a good piece of work. I've got something coming up,
Don't worry about the things you can't control. I guess
mate, I'm loving that. Don't worry about things you can't control. Beautiful.
Which is completely ironic because as better than anyone that I worry about absolutely every single little thing, overthink every single little thing, and yeah, I'm a nightmare when it comes to that. It's easier said than done, of course.
Yeah.
But I think we won't worry, but we will look forward to next week, because next week, not only is it part of season 11, but it is the first guest of season 11. Super excited. People out there listening and watching, you will not want to miss. We say this every time because it's absolutely true every time. But yes, another brand new guest, really exciting. First one of season 11, and someone who, been looking forward to talking to for a while now. So,
join us. What more can we say? Please. We love your company. We love all the following, all the subscribing, etc. that our listeners and followers do. Please keep on doing that. You make it such a joy to sit here every week. It's a joy to sit here every week with Sam anyway. But it's great to know that there are people out there quite enjoying what we're doing. That's very, very pleasing. So please join us, and we will surprise and delight you. But as we've said this episode, not necessarily in chronological order.
Yeah, exactly that. We might have even recorded this guest. Who knows?
Who knows?
We haven't. But no. So until then, mate, I think we should probably leave it there.
Absolutely, my friend.
It has been an absolute pleasure, as it always is. Not just talking to your good self, but having people out there listening and watching. So thank you, everyone. Tune in next week for the first guest of season 11. Cheers to you all.
Cheers, people. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.